soon. On Xeris Prime, though, we will have the Red Zerd Reiki? Reiki. And his opponents will be none other than the Blue Terran Fingerknitter. With that hand and a whip, he's into some weird stuff, but we don't need to worry about that. Zerd is just going to sit here, make drones, hopefully not going to take part in any of this whip play right here. I don't know about all that. But since there's no cheese going on, we'll speed this up just a bit. No weird timings. We will see if Terran decides to go for a fast expand, which is pretty much guaranteed. Maybe a one rat's fast expand wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Could have even went command center first on this map just because it is so very large. You can defend this choke point very easily. As long as the Zerd doesn't try to like take out these rots or something, you'll be fine all the time. But he does go for the one rat's fast expand by the looks of it. This Marine trying to kill this drone. It will, if things are work out for the Terran, he will micro it. And he's not microing it. And he still gets it. Okay. So, I mean, it's just one drone, but every drone does count. So, this hatchery, or I mean, the spawning pool is about to finish up soon. He did go for the 15 hatch, though, so those will finish up close to the same amount of time, allowing him to make a queen or two queens at the same time, which, I mean, it's always nice to have. Double gas coming out from Terran pretty early on. Could see some form of Hellbat drop, could see some form of really anything. This allows him to have so much gas so very early. He could go for anything in Terran arsenal, really. That's, I wouldn't agree with it, but when I say anything, that does include any form of airplay. But Sky Terran is hard to play with, I think, especially in this matchup. I think that's going to be reserved for TVT and only TVT. So just so before anybody catches me out when I say anything, that's why I'm just going to clear that up real quick. Bunker being made here at the front. Command center is going to finish up as well, and that will be within pretty good timing of the Zerd's base. I mean, the Zerd base has been up for a minute, but it has only one drone working at it, so not too much of an advantage coming from there. Lanes are on the map hunting down this SCV, but they have lost the scent, so it doesn't look like he will die anytime soon. Overlord in position to make sure these rots aren't going down later on. This bunker has been loaded up pretty well. 2 Marines, 1 Marine, I don't know where he's going. Maybe he's checking for overlords over here, which isn't a bad idea at all. Reactor and a factory, meaning that we will probably see those Hellions coming out here soon. Pretty standard stuff right there. These lanes, one, he does lose his brother. He is going to go off in mourning right now. I guarantee it. Another queen being made, though, will fend off any Hellion play if we do see that. And that will be very helpful to have, just because the more queens, the merrier. 3 is not a crowd, etc., etc., etc. We'll see this wall off finish in just a second, I would assume. He doesn't need to make a supply depot right this minute. We do see the armory, though. So that means 9 times out of 10 that we will see some Hellbat drops, and that is always nice to see. We'll have 2 Hellions on the way, as well as 2 more, I would assume, after that, or he will just have the Hellbats after that and run the Hellions into the natural when he drops. All things are possible. He will scout the 3rd base coming up with this SCV, and Zerd doesn't know that he scouted it. He didn't have any vision of that. He doesn't know this SCV was ever here. He just stole some minerals and walked away. That, like, if there was an explosion behind him too, that would be the coolest SCV, the most interesting SCV ever. So that is that. 1 Zergling does die finally after he lost his brother earlier. He decided to throw himself to the fiery death of the Hellions. Baneley Nest is going to be finishing up here soon. Lair started for the Zerg. Hellbats are on the way, plus 1 Terran vehicle weapons. And the medevac. That will be a very deadly drop once it does happen, which will be here rather soon. Starting more Hellbats, actually. Not even going to go for a reactor on the starport. And that is perfectly fine. He will be loading this up in just a second. There it goes, and boosting off into the wild red sky over the volcanic Xeris Prime. Anyways, So this will probably drop in the natural, which will be a very nice spot. And then he'll run the Hellions into the third probably, which won't have too many drones there at that time. But he might be able to catch one or two. The lanes will have to come over here and defend against the Hellbats. He will also stop mining at the natural if he does drop there, excuse me. Third base going down for Terran, though it will just fly over here in a few minutes. More Hellbats being made. That +1 is about halfway done. And he could load up this medevac as well. You do want to get on that as soon as possible. He might just go full mech with this, really. He's going to have another tech lab on the way on his Barretts, and this drop looks to be going towards the third or the main. This medevac is in plain sight of the Zerg player, and he saw it coming from a mile away, but he never moved his drones, and here it comes. It will get a few kills already. No, they're going after the queens. Don't do that. Now killing a few drones, now being surrounded by the drones, but they do a lot of damage to light units. Okay, he does get them both, just barely getting the second Hellbat out of there. And now it does go towards the main. There is a Spire making in the main, and the medevac healing the Hellbats, but not dealing enough healing. Not healing enough. But there is another drop in the third that we were going to see. There it is. 12 drones have been killed, and that is all we will see from that drop. One medevac does get picked off. That does make this a little bit less efficient for the Terran player, but I mean he does have more and more Hellbats. Does have a very nice amount of Hellbats. So really building a siege tank as well. And the only problem is that he did scout the Spire. He does scan it again as well. And now he's making a Thor. That will be his anti-air for this. He does actually just straight up cancel the siege tank. Now making another factory for this tech lab right here. He's just going to go full mech, which is very nice to see. Those medevacs do heal the Hellbats for whatever reason. I really don't understand that. But that does allow them to stay alive for a very long time and does give those medevacs some purpose in the mech build of Terran these days. Baneling speed has just finished. +1 armor for the Mutalist has also started. And he has enough gas for 8 Mutalists, but he doesn't have nearly enough minerals and doesn't have any supply room. That doesn't leave the Zerg in a very good spot for his harassment. And there's not going to be any missile turrets, surprisingly. Terran's still only on 2 bases as well. He is supply blocked himself. That will not be a good spot to be in, but when both players are supply blocked, I guess neither of them really loses out too very much. Terran more so than Zerg because those injets can constantly be going off, so before anybody cries out balance, though, I don't want to throw too much out in that regard, because then people will think that I'm leaning one way or another. And I think everything's pretty well balanced besides oh, I just hate Zerg in general, but that's beside the point. Do you have triple evolution chamber on the way? Or okay, no, that's an infestation pit. Thought I read that or a second ago. Does start a macro hatch as well, so he does have 3 bases with the macro hatch. Spending all of his minerals pretty efficiently. Doesn't have very much gas either. He does have a nice set of 54 drones. You definitely want more. That's why he's spending all of his minerals, because he doesn't have enough workers, and that will definitely keep you at a lower supply than what you want to be. He is down by about 30 supply. Yeah, he did lose about a total of 12 drones, but that's not enough to make you down by 28 supply. Zerg is supposed to be ahead in supply, but that is not the case. 2 Thors being made at a time. 2 Thors are on the field, plus 2 vehicle weapons is also on the way. Those Thors do a lot of damage, dealing 14 damage times 4 every time they attack, and that, I believe, is still area of effect damage. He's just going to leave the Thor here, though. Okay, now he is going to take it. That's good. And he's just going to move out to his center ramp to make sure he can secure this third efficiently, and there it goes, making more Thors, still getting that +2. Overlord speed is going to be finishing up here soon, and that will allow possibly this Overseer to fly into the main base and see what all is going on. Or even this one, he does have one on both sides, very nice positioning of all that. These Hellions do see the Mutalist coming, so that way Terran knows exactly what is on the way, setting up a nice supply depot and bunker. Or I thought there was a bunker. No, apparently not. So nice supply depot wall. And these Mutalists, they were heading this way, so Terran, well, he's not really preparing for anything anyways. He does have 2 missile turrets, and these Widow Mines could be big if they do land, but instead, he's going to chase after this Hellbat drop over here, possibly. This Hellbat drop could, no, it's probably not going to do a lot because there's just so many spines and a spore here. Now pulling back. What, these Mutalisks are going to find this, or, oh, was that creep? He built the creep tumor too close to this base, so he was not able to make a hatchery there, apparently. So, we will see a drone, I think, or was that just a misclick? Either way, I'm a bit confused, but, and surprisingly, has not gotten this tower yet, or Terran will see all of this creep spread, will see this fourth base going down as well, thanks to this handy-dandy SCV. Swarm host upgrade has been started, Hive is finished, and starting to get those upgrades for his Zerglings, but if you're going for Swarm host, I would assume that you'd be getting the ranged upgrades. That is not the case, though. A lot of spines and spores are being made, and that's cool, but not when you have so few okay, never mind. He definitely droned up quite hard. He does have 71 drones now, and he does have, compared to 68 SCVs, a Hellbat drop is going to fly over all of this and see the spawning fields, basically. And he's just going to stay there. There they go, dropping them, tanking a lot of Baneling hits, actually. And that was the drop. Zerg is taking a fifth base over here, though, on the right side of the map. More Thor, more Hellbats being made, and getting that +2 armor, actually, so they will be in a very nice spot in terms of upgrades. Definitely has enough to get the +3 attack as well, making those Thors do a lot of damage if they do have that. And the Hellbats do 36 damage in an area of effect cone to Zerglings and Banelings. That is a lot of damage. As also to drones, if they do get into the mineral lines, that can be quite deadly. They will also deal with Lotus pretty well as well. Lotus will be about 3 hit by the Hellbats. When you have so many Hellbats on the field, that doesn't take too long to happen. This amount of creep spread, though, will be kind of annoying to deal with, and Zerg will see the majority of this army moving across because that creep spread did just get to this point. Something being taken out, those Javelin missiles being shot out by the Thors. And now Swarm Host, though, 10 are in production, but he does not have the upgrades on those units. And the upgraded armor on the Thors and Hellbats will definitely make them a lot tankier against those Locusts, and dealing only 10 damage instead of 12, which is always good. A Queen being taken out, and Zerg knows exactly what's over here, knows exactly what he needs to do, maybe, but running Mutalist into Thors is not what you need to do. Making a few Widowmines burrow here. And he did see this, and now the Swarm Hosts are being scanned. There's a lot of area of effect damage in regards to those Hellbats, but that's not going to be enough by the looks of it. The Mutalisks keep trying to fly in here, and that is not a good idea for them. Scans going down yet again, trying to take out the Swarm Host, but instead, there goes a third scan on this. He's making sure that he breaks this. It's taken him quite some time, though. Those Hellbats have all died, except for 2 or 3. Okay, there was a few in the back. He did take out quite a few Swarm Hosts, but not all of them, so these units will keep doing their free damage. There goes one mine hit. The other one did go off a moment ago. And he did just see Lings rallied from over here, so he might know about this. I mean, he should see the creep either way. He does actually know about this base in its entirety. But he's just going to push into the natural. A lot more mech being made back at home, but not being rallied back. He does start siege chain production to counter the Swarm Host, a very good idea. And he's just going to tear apart everything here. He is only on the 2-2, though. He could have started 3-3 behind this. He is definitely floating a lot of resources, killing Overlords with those, stopping all the lanes with some Hellbats. But now all the Hellbats are dead, and he doesn't have anything to protect these Thors. Yes, the Thors do damage by themselves, quite a bit of damage, actually. And they will one-shot the Thors, or two-shot the Locust. But when those Locusts deal so much free damage, he does save one Thor by loading it up. Could just take out this base, but instead, he's not microing this at all. What is he doing? Okay, there he goes. Now he does focus the hatchery, rather. And Mutalisks are in the sky. There goes one Mutalisk, and he does lose 2 more Thors. He will lose the other ones at this rate. This base will be taken out by this Thor, though, dealing a lot of damage so quickly. These Thors are pretty much just baits at this point. He's going to try to bait these Lings and Locusts over the Widowmines. A pretty good use of those Widowmines. There they go. And he does save the last Thor over here. Does have this Thor canceling that Queen that was in production. And the Broodlings will do a little bit of damage, not too much. Luckily, the Thors don't have the biological tag that the Hellbats do. And a lot of Lings running over here. Does lose a few of them. And loses a few more to that Hellbat in its second wave of fire. And he's going to do a Thor drop in the 4th base of the Zerg. very, very quickly taking out that spine crawler. It's surprising how much damage Thors do because they are not used that often, just because Marine's seen as such better for that, so much better for that anti-air. Even though in these mech plays, you definitely want a couple of Thors just because you want to stop Mutalisk, and actually taking that out to about a third of its health, about a fifth to be honest. But he does lose the Thor, does lose the medevac. Another Thor drop over here will actually cancel his natural. Zerg is on 3 bases, and one of those bases is almost mined out. This Thor drop is going to continue, actually, and he's going to drop it on top of these drones. Does pick up another drone kill. This is the most effect. That Thor has 23 kills. This is the commander. He is the hero of this Terran army right now. Terran is maxed out, but not moving out with this army. You want to, when you're maxed out, you want to move out so that way you don't throw away your advantage. You know Zerg can't be maxed out at this point. He's just been losing units upon units. Taking out a few Zerglings. He will get 28, 29. He does get picked up. No Mutalist in sight to stop this. Where are the Mutalists? They're all over here. And now he's just going to keep killing things. He does have 31 kills right now, and he might even take out the Roach Warren, even though that's not too big of a problem right now. Will it get taken out? And, oh, he gets picked up at the very, very last second. Hopefully he gets out of there for his sake. He is the commander. He does need to be safe, so that way the Terran units know what they're doing. So many Hellbats and Siege Chains here, and a couple of Thors just for that added anti-air. And that will be very, very effective against the Swarm Host army here if he sieges up, and he is not sieged up yet, and that is a bit of an issue. Terran is on 3 bases, Zerg is on 2.5 bases, I guess we can say. And scans going down on the Swarm Host. They are moving the Locust to the 4th base location, assuming that there would be something there possibly, but that is not the case. Could have just lowered down these supply depots so that way these units do not go out in a stream. But the Hellbats are moving out. There are no Locusts to protect them. He did not move them back, and they were all over on the side. Swarm Hosts do actually move quite quickly. 2.25 and then a little bit faster on creep. And he does need to scan this. There they go. And all the Locusts will fall very, very quickly. Even if the Mutalists come in here, he doesn't have the unit composition to defend against this. Greater Spire has been started. 8 Mutalists are on the way. The +3 armor is also on the way, but he doesn't have the +3 ranged attack that he needs on these Locusts, and he needs to actually be attacking with the Locusts. Most of the time, they are either out of position or not attacking at all. He's going to try to move back up this natural ramp, which that's because he knows he doesn't want to push through this. This is too many spine crawlers, too many spore crawlers, just a lot of annoying things. So instead he's just going to push into the natural. Also the Swarm Host Locusts are going to be going towards this way, so they'll be not as effective if they come from behind. And the Thors are not hitting the Mutalists just yet. Now they all turn, and they do that area of effect damage. A lot of the Mutalists taking a lot of damage. They are starting to focus down the Thors, but it's not going to be enough. The Mutalists are all falling. One of the Thors does go down. He does set down a lot of Manor Mules and does call the GG. And that's because there was nothing to defend against this army. The Thors took out all the Mutalists, or would have in just a moment, dealing so much damage. 18 times 4. Not 2 shots of Mutalisk. And that is area of effect damage. So Thors proving to be effective. Hellbats proving to be effective against holding off the ground assault from those Thors. And Siege Chains just being Siege Chains, dealing so much damage regardless of being in siege mode or not. Good game though from fingerknitter. Would have liked to have seen the upgrades a little bit sooner. Would have liked to have seen Zerg go to Ultralisk instead of trying to go for Broodlords by the looks of it, but I don't think that would have been too effective here because there was just so much on the ground. And yes, Siege Chains do a lot of damage to armored units, but at the same time, the Ultralisk can get into their face very quickly. So, good game from fingerknitter. Thank you for the replay.